Hey class, welcome back. This is week 6 of CISS 350 Disaster Recovery. Hope you guys are doing well. This week we're going to be going into drafting our disaster recovery portion of our project, right? Last week we started doing the contingency portion. This week we're going to start drafting our disaster recovery portion. It's not going to be as much writing, but there's still a good chunk you're going to have to do. All right, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump to the modules section, or login canvas, jump to modules to quickly go over some of the other stuff before we discuss the assignment. So this week I would like you guys to go over chapter 10. Okay, go over chapter 10, read it, check out the PowerPoint. There's no videos for this week, so we're just going to keep it really simple. But there will be a quiz. This quiz will go over chapters 8, 9, and 10. Chapters 8 and 9 we did last week, but we didn't have a quiz because there was a bigger chunk of writing, we had to do. This week, not as much, but we still have a good portion. So I kind of wanted to balance it out. We'll do our quiz with the lesser portion of the writing. And last week, since we had so much, let's focus on that. Okay, so chapters 8, 9, and 10. It's only worth 5 points. The questions will kind of be mixed up. So you have 2 attempts, no time limit for this one. All right. Nothing too difficult. Okay. Now going into the main portion of this week. All right. Drafting the disaster recovery plan. All right. So with the same business we've been working with for the last few weeks now. The same business that you've selected your contingency plan with from last week. We want to write a disaster recovery plan. Okay. This disaster recovery plan, remember, I think it was like week 2 or 3, I asked for you guys to go find a disaster recovery and contingency plan template. Now, we did the contingency portion. Now we want to do the disaster recovery. Hopefully, you still have some of those templates up there. I know in the back of the book there should be a couple. If you're still trying to find a template, there's some great ones online. If you need help, I can always send you some great templates as well. So this week we're going to be writing about 5 to 6 pages for the disaster recovery plan. Usually disaster recovery plans are much longer, but for our case, just around 5 to 6 pages. We're keeping it simple. It's really, I'll be honest, it's kind of difficult trying to, create this fictitious business. I mean, it's a little complex. You have to think outside the box. And so we're just going to try to keep it simple in terms of, the basics, right? We just want to hit the general ideas of what you should do. We don't have to go very finite detail. Just make sure you hit the basic topics of, making sure you're testing, come up with, for the first half page, come up with a testing and rehearsal schedule, right? So usually you want to test out your disaster recovery plan maybe several times a year, just to make sure that it's updated. You never know, procedures or processes may have changed, or roles or responsibilities need to be updated because people have left or new people have been onboarded, right? And then we want another half page of disaster recovery, training, and awareness, right? So depending on who's involved, usually you want disaster recovery. Usually we say security is everyone's business, right? Everyone in the organization has a part of security. Now, specifically for disaster recovery, there may be portions where, yes, the individual user needs to, partake in something. Probably not an employee, in accounting or something, may not have, the biggest role, or HR or whatever it is. But for the IT person who's actually responsible, they need to know what to do in terms of disaster recovery. All right, so make sure that there's a plan for training and awareness when it's happening, and how it's going to be conducted, right? And then we want another half page of identify plan triggers. So when do we conduct this disaster recovery plan? When do we actually determine this is an incident, this is a disaster, let's go through a disaster recovery plan? All right. So being able to identify when something is a disaster will let you know when to hit it, when to trigger off that disaster recovery plan. And you will need metrics, all right? So sometimes, some people may have like different matrices of saying like if matrices like low, medium, high. This is just throwing out an example, or critical, right? Depending on where a specific incident happens, that's when like the disaster recovery plan kicks in, right? That's just like one of few examples that I've seen before. All right. Identify plan of distribution, about half page. A page of identify primary objectives of the response phase. Okay. One page of identifying primary objectives of the recovery phase. Fourth of a page of fictional points of contact for the plan. All right. So usually there could be overlapping of individuals from the disaster recovery and contingency plan, but even more so, specific processes and procedures may overlap as well. Something to always remember is that the contingency plan and the disaster recovery plan usually go hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. And it's really nice to reference them in each one. Like say, hey, if X happens, this is when contingency X goes down, this is when you kick in your contingency plan. Or a contingency plan, if X, Y, and Z are broken, referred to disaster recovery plan, right? So there's going to be overlap, and there are specific items you may need to pull out from your contingency plan to put in here as well. So that's just a heads up, all right? And that's completely normal, all right? In addition, each page should be dated, marked as sensitive unclassified information, all right? That's just in general. And add your 5 to 6 page document to the discussion board. Provide constructive feedback of at least one paragraph to classmates. So what I'm looking for here, right? All these items that are in your disaster recovery plan should be around 5 to 6 pages, and it's mostly going to be added or appended to your contingency plan to be submitted. Well, it's going to be like 2 different plans, but in one file, kind of. So that's what I mean by appended, right? But for the 5 to 6 page of your disaster recovery plan, go ahead and post it, and I want everyone to at least respond to 2 other classmates. And you don't have to read through all 6 pages, right? Just review one of the paragraphs of one of your classmates and, add constructive feedback. Say, hey, you're missing X, Y, or Z. Maybe you want to add just, good suggestions to, make it more detailed and comprehensive, right? And I will go in there and start giving back constructive feedback as well for you guys as well. And if you guys are looking specifically, I can also go ahead and shoot me an email. I can do it as well via Canvas or my email. Okay. Just remember, respond to at least 2 other classmates, proper grammar, capitalization, punctuation, and everything's going to be due by Wednesday evening, 11:59 p.m., February 23rd. Now, this specific assignment, after we do this one, pretty much most of the heavy lifting is done. So just grind through the rest of this disaster recovery plan draft, and the heavy lifting is done. right? The following week, week 7, we're going to be going into more of finalizing it, fine tuning things, kind of cleaning it up a little bit, right? Trimming the fat or adding more content where it's needed. So that's why it's important. The more effort you do right now, the easier it will be for next week. Okay. Some students do such a well job in week 6 that they literally don't have to do anything, or weeks 5 and 6 they don't have to do anything in week 7 because it's pretty much complete. So that's why it's really important. Put good effort into this week. Maybe review even some of your contingency plan. If you're missing something, for example, referencing, you find some overlapping items you want to add or remove in your prior contingency plan or disaster recovery plan, go ahead and do so, because you will turn in all of it later in the semester. Okay, so it's relatively simple, nothing too complex. Let me know if you have any questions. If you need help with anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. And yeah, so disaster recovery plan. With that, I don't think there's anything else for this week. I really want you guys to just go ahead, focus on knocking out this disaster recovery plan, and then you guys should be good to go. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Let me see. Let me just make sure. Overview. One more quiz. I do have one more thing I quickly want to bring up. If you guys are, I always want to make sure everyone is feeling okay, right? If someone's going through any type of stress, or aren't feeling well, or just would like to discuss things privately, or just needs a vent, I do have this Google Forms I created for you guys. You guys can remain anonymous. Go ahead and if you guys want, you can share whatever you want to me. Remain anonymous, or if you want me to reach out to you, and we can have a one-on-one session. If you're looking for any type of mentoring or counseling, I'm here for you guys. Just want to quickly bring that up as well, because I know mental health is really important these days, and so just want to provide that kind of support for you guys. So you don't even have to use this link. You can email me. My virtual door is open for everyone. All right. Anyways, with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.